Schools are a make or break decision point for us when underwriting assets. We want those young families who are looking for a rental product in a great school system to be knocking on our door, plain and simple. That is a big driver of many households in their decision making on where they're going to live. And so that is a very early data point that we look pretty hard at before we progress on a particular acquisition.
So, with that in mind, how do you address property improvement in the Class A segment? Um, Considering that those types of families, um, the traditional market for Class A communities has always been basically a two bed, two bath kind of situation. The
Yeah.
occasional three bed, two bath, but really the sweet spot is a two bed, two bath. So if you're focused on family, one of the reasons we've seen, growth in the single family rental market is because families want a home with a yard and enough space for multiple children, mom, dad, a couple of kids, a dog. How do those things impact the properties that you look at? And then how do those desires by your target market impacts the way that you do any improvements to the communities or even change, particular criteria. The pet thing is a big one.
Yes. So it's all about unit mix today. It really always has been, except we're seeing more shift, right? And you,
Mhm.
you pointed out very well. It used to be you wanted a mix of ones and twos and very little three bedrooms. Today, we're seeing a more balanced mix of ones, twos, and three bedrooms. We also like to look for assets that have a number of townhomes as part of the multifamily community. So you've got your own entrance. You're not walking down a hallway. And in many cases now, you've got an attached garage. So we like
Okay.
to have a unit mix where a certain percentage of our residents are going to be families, and we want to be able to have a product that attracts them to the community. As far as improvements, we've evolved quite a bit as a firm. It used to be that we were similar to others in that we would look for older assets where we would make lots of physical improvements. Versus today, we're looking for a much newer asset that really doesn't need much more than maybe some fixture changes or some sprucing up if there's been deferred maintenance. But we're looking to have those amenities and those floor plans with the nice tall ceilings and the smart systems already in place. And what we target is that mediocre third party manager, that developer who's got to sell sooner than he would like, or that again that big bloated firm that's maybe got one or two assets in the market and they're looking to exit because they may have to. They've got a defined date where they've got to sell it, or they need a win, or they need liquidity. So it's less about bringing in those improvements to the assets we're buying these days than it used to be. But certainly pets are big. You've got to have the bark park and the pet wash. Pet friendly is a big piece of this game now. By some estimates, I think 60% of the resident base out there that rents apartments has a pet.
Yeah, I remember back in the day. So our career paths kind of arc in that I've been in the industry for 25 years as well. I remember back in the day how hard it was to find places to live that accepted a dog, especially a
Yeah,
big dog. I'm a big dog person. I actually have 2 dogs and a cat. So if I had to go find an apartment tomorrow, um, and this was even a decade ago, that would be an impossible task. Like, no one would look at my 2 massive dogs and my cat and be like, "Yeah, you can live here."
you
But
would find that different today. Even massive
exactly.
dogs. Yeah, you would find that very different today. As an industry, we are much more pet forward than we used to be. And frankly, from an investment standpoint, it generates more ancillary income and pet deposits, pet fees.
Yep.
Now you've gotta have a good management team that knows how to get on the person that doesn't know how to pick up after their pet.
Right.
But, that's just, par for the course with managing, multifamily. It's a operationally intensive business every day of the week.